At this moment, I'm going to invite back up Miss Valerie Weiner, who is our practitioner of the day, and the thunder welcomes her as she brings her own brand of thunder. The lovely Miss Janita Johnson, AKA JJ, is going to sing us into the silence. The fabulous Valerie is going to do our affirmation and our invocation. Please kick back, have a seat, and go within, and let's get started.
As we move into this afternoon/evening's contemplation period, please again silence your cell phones or other electronic devices. Thank you so much for doing that. Let's begin with this week's affirmation from your program and also on the screen to set you up for the week and inspire you through those moments when you want that little boost as a reminder of who you are. You might choose to cut it out or carry it with you or put it in your car or on your refrigerator to remind you of the truth of your being. Now let's say the affirmation together. Today, I celebrate the seed of creativity that is planted within me. I joyfully welcome its growth, expressing as everything I think, say, and do. Now please take a deep breath. That life force that is God, take it within and let the music take us into that silent place, followed by this evening's invocation.
Into the silence, into the silence, into the silence, I will be free.
In that moment, in that silent moment, between each breath, in this time, we hear the music of thunder. We feel the touch of rain upon our bodies as that replenishing moisture of life. And the breezes that wisp around us remind us that that is the touch of the One embracing us in the moment. It is all God, ever expressing in the most divine and unique ways in our lives as who we are. And as we make choices to express our own creative ideas and take our own magnificent action steps, we have shown up here tonight to experience this moment together and to grow spiritually as our unique selves through music and message and togetherness. It is all God. And I'm so grateful for all the ways that we show up in moments just like this, for the opportunities to fly, to soar as only we can. It is this moment and the next and the next. And I am so grateful for all the ways we are unfolding in this moment and beyond. And together we say, and so it is.
I am aligned with spirit, with spirit. With spirit, with spirit, I am aligned with spirit, with spirit. We're all made of His love, divine oneness of God. He's the light within this soul, transforming our hearts with everything that is God. He's aligning our souls, aligning our spirits. Our souls are aligned with God. I want to fly like an eagle. I want to soar high like an eagle. Say it with me, come on. I want to fly like an eagle. I want to soar high like an eagle. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle into the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly. I wanna feed the babies who ain't got enough to eat. Shoe the children with no shoes on their feet. House the people living in the street. Oh yeah, there's a solution. I wanna fly. I wanna soar. I wanna fly. fly. I wanna soar, Lord, yeah, just like an eagle, yeah, yeah. I wanna fly like an eagle to the sea, fly like an eagle and let my spirit carry me. I wanna fly high just like an eagle, yeah, yeah. You know that time keeps on slipping into the sea. Time keeps on slipping, let my spirit carry me. I wanna fly, yeah, just like an eagle. Come on, y'all, sing it with me. I wanna fly, yeah, 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 into the sky, yeah. I wanna soar high just like an eagle, yeah. I wanna fly like an eagle.
Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, that is the one and only Johnita Johnson. Fly like an eagle. Oh, my. You know, you've done a lot of songs that I really appreciate, but right now, that's making my all-time favorite list. You might have to do that one more time before we leave here today. Today's message is fly like an eagle. And I go into meditation, and throughout the course of the summer, if you've noticed, all of my messages have been the titles of big hits from the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. And Fly Like an Eagle was one of those songs, and I went out and I looked at the words, and my heart just flew open. And I said, of course, I want to fly like an eagle. And I did a little research, and back in June of 1782, the bald eagle was adopted as America's emblem. And it was adopted because the bald eagle symbolizes freedom and strength. And at the time, they thought that the bald eagle was only found on this continent. And then they became, and I think historically have always been, a symbol, a mystical symbol, found in a lot of different religions, in the American Indian culture, even in the African culture. There's a lot of reference to the eagle. Now, the original bald eagle was not a B-A-L-D, but a B-A-L-D-E. And that bald is French for white crown. Now, what a lot of us don't know is baby eaglets are born and their feathers are brown up until they're 5 years old, and then they turn white. Now, I chose this for a lot of symbolism because I think of us that are spiritually evolving, we're like the eagles in a lot of ways, because are you aware that it's very difficult to tell the difference, almost impossible to know the difference between a male and a female? And what's really interesting is eagles don't age. You cannot look at an eagle and tell how old it is. Once its feather turns white, oh, you don't know. But there are some qualities about eagles that I really would like us to adopt. And some of those qualities are, eagles know who they are. They know they are free. And when things get difficult on any plane, they soar above it. They don't fly into nothing, or they can go beneath it. Eagles mate for a lifetime, and like many of us, they build these big nests. Eagles build nests that are anywhere from 3 to 6 feet in diameter and can be as deep as 8 feet. And the reason they do that is because eagles have broad wingspans. Now, when they have these little eaglets, the eaglet lives inside this nest, right? Well, as the eaglet starts to grow and starts to spread its wing in the nest, the branches start to poke the eagle. And that's the intent. They don't want the eaglet to stay there so long that it becomes complacent. It needs for the eaglet to get uncomfortable. And that reminds me a lot like us. Like the eagle, humans are born free and are always at choice to exercise our freedom. However, unlike the eagle, many of us have forgotten that we're free because we bought into other people's descriptions and definitions and the stuff we hear in the news, and then we do something, we become what I call complacent. You know what complacent is? You just get comfortable. Now, here's the thing about being complacent. Even if it's uncomfortable, you stay there because it's the known. I remember hearing some elderly ladies back when I was a young girl saying, some woman was saying, well, I'm leaving him, he's mean, and he's this. And this old lady said, the devil you know is better than the one you don't know. So what she was telling this young woman, oh, you need to stay with him because you know where his flaws and faults are. If you get somebody else, you don't know where their flaws and faults are. How many of us have become complacent in jobs because it paid the rent and we just stayed there? We become complacent in relationships, not just romantic relationships, but in relationship with people that don't mean us any good. We just stay there. Now, here's the issue with complacency. When you get somewhere and you become complacent, you are afraid of change. That is not God's big idea of you, to be afraid of change. Because here is the thing that I can tell you absolutely and emphatically, life is about change. You don't get anywhere, I don't care how good it is, and it stays like that. I have heard people say, oh, it's so wonderful, I wanted to just stay like this. You're setting yourself up for disappointment because it never stays the way it is. And you should not desire for it to stay that way, because here's what happens. You show me something that isn't changing, I'll show you something that's dying. You either, listen, this is a teachable moment. You either evolve or you dissolve. You don't stay the same. There is no such thing as anything coming into this life and it stays right here, comfortable, so I can be complacent. That is not the meaning of life. You must be like an eagle. You must allow yourself to keep having new experiences. You must embrace change. Because if you cannot embrace change, it's a guarantee that you're going to be unhappy 99.9% of the time. And the funny thing about change, I told you that these branches that stick into the eaglet's nest, that's by design. Because even eaglets have to be pushed out of their comfort zone. And that's what happens with us. Something will come up to push you out of your comfort zone. And you'll be like, but I just figured this out. You get a new boss and you just figured out how to manipulate the last one. I mean, to manage the last boss. And now you have a new one and you have to do something different. Or you just got comfortable with the person that lives next door to you and they sell the house and now you have a new neighbor. Or you just got comfortable with anything in life. And now it has, without your permission, up and decided to change. Well, here is the thing about life. It doesn't prepare us for change. Because where do you learn that everything must change? No one wants to talk about it. But you need to bear in mind that complacency is like carbon monoxide. It's a silent killer. You see somebody that's not changing, pretty soon they're just existing. When there is no change, you are not experiencing joy. You're just existing. Getting by day after day, nothing ever changes. You are not living on the edge. There was a commercial years ago that said, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. You're not supposed to get anywhere and get you an easy chair on the edge of life and say, now I can just watch life go by. No. We are here to live fully. As long as you are sucking up God's good air, there is something for you to do. Anybody there's nothing for them to do, they're not here. When your work is done, you leave the planet. That's just the absolute truth there. You're not here to do nothing. But better yet, when we know who we truly are in the eyes of God, that we are whole, perfect, and complete, then and only then can we soar like an eagle. Now, I'm going to say this. I love this expression about soaring like an eagle. Some of you know, and others may not know, I'm an avid motorcycle rider. Well, in the motorcycle community, when they get together, they have these races, and it's called a slow roll. Now, let me tell you about the slow roll. In order to go really slow on a big motorcycle, you have to be a very good rider. And the slow roll is about 50 feet from this door to this door, and you are racing against someone else. And the one that gets to the finish line last without putting their feet on the ground is the winner. So you start out over here, and you rev your engine up, and the whole purpose is to go as slow as possible without losing your balance and putting your feet on the ground. Now, that's very difficult to do on a large motorcycle because of the weight of the motorcycle. But if you practice, see, the first time I saw it, I went home, I almost burned up a clutch practicing this because I decided I wanted to be good at the slow roll. The deal is you have to rev that engine up and keep that clutch where you got enough torque on it that the engine is fooled to think that you're moving faster than you are. And then once you really tense your body up and you have to give it your undying attention, you can slow roll. I got good at that. But here's the thing about life. If you try to slow roll through life, you're going to carry a lot of tension in your body. Your engine going to be revved up, but you're not going anywhere. Now, I'm going to show you what a lot of people say, ooh, how do you do that? One of the easiest things you can do, and I'm going to have Joe cue this up. Early one morning, a few months ago, matter of fact, the first part of June, we went out to Lake Mead, and he was getting some footage of me riding. And if you've ever been out there, there's these curves and hills, and it's beautiful. It's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm riding out there, and it got what they call good to me. I locked in my cruise control on my motorcycle. I'm doing about 45 or 50. And this is what happens when you're moving through life in balance. You have to keep moving to keep the balance. I'm going to let Joe show you what happens. Now, this is me. I'm cruising. If you notice, no hands. You can't slow roll and do this. You got to be moving to stay in balance. That's life at its best. You notice that he's like, wow, her hands are straight out. I'm riding like this. You can't slow roll and do that, baby. That's not how God intended it. You have to be moving to stay in balance. Life is about the balance of being and doing and paying attention and being in the flow. Now, I had Joe pull that because I said, people have asked me often, how do you do that? That's easy. The challenge is to slow and ride real slow and not put your feet down. Because life is not designed for you to creep through life. I'm going to be safe. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to build small moves. That's not life. Life is about keeping the balance, and you have to be moving to have that balance. Now, it goes on to talk about flying like an eagle. And what I like about eagles, eagles have a way of soaring so high, they make sure they only attract what they want. Eagles soar really high, and they lock talons way up in the sky. And they actually mate while they're up there, and they do what's called cartwheeling. And they are making, they over there getting it on, making little baby eaglets. And just before they hit ground, they separate. See, eagles, they ain't mating down here with no buzzards. They're not mating with any chickens because they know who they are. They know their sense of freedom. They know their strength. They know what they are capable of. And as I say, they know who they are and they know whose they are. So they're not playing a small game of life. They are living what God calls a big game of life. Now, here's what's interesting about that. Eagles, like some of us, they fly high, and when they're flying high, they can spot another eagle as far as 50 miles away. With their eyesight, they have what they call eagle eyesight. Here is the beauty about that. Here's the beauty about that. When you know who you are, you recognize other people that know who they are. And you want to fly with people that know who they are. Because if you don't, you're going to be hanging out with some folks that are vibrating down here with the chickens, the buzzards, and all those old low vibration people. But when you know who you are, you're going to attract people of like consciousness. When you are loving, the world you see is going to mirror that love back to you. When you are a God-fearing individual, the world's going to mirror that back to you. When you are generous, the world's going to mirror that back to you. Now, here is where a lot of us miss the point. I want you to listen carefully. Like the eagle, when things get turbulent, they soar above it. They go higher. They don't drop down into it. No. They soar above it. I'll give you another example of how you do things the right way. How many of you have ever flown on an aircraft? Okay, everyone has flown one time or another. When you're on an airplane and they hit turbulence, there will be this little light that says, ding, please fasten your seatbelt. And then comes the pilot, and he will say, this is your pilot, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be experiencing turbulence for the next 20 miles, and we're now cruising at an altitude of 30,000 feet, and we are going to rise above it. He don't tell you nothing about he's going to drop down into that. The pilot always does this and goes and flies above the turbulence. That's us. We are the eagles of the species. When things get turbulent, don't fly into the eye of the storm. Don't get sucked into the drama. Don't get caught up in the appearance of how things look. Elevate yourself and fly over it. When you elevate your consciousness, this, you exercise your freedom. This, you exercise your strength. As someone I love dearly said, when you see chaos and foolishness, cross the street. Don't go over there asking questions. Well, what's going on? That ain't your business. Rise above it. You know, when you see that going on, I don't need to stop and gawk and get all the details. What I do is I'm walking off and say, Lord, I know you're right there in that situation. I know you got it under control. You are handling it. I am going to take the high watch. I am going to stand on Calvary's mountain and know the truth about the situation. When I hear an ambulance, I wonder what. I don't need to wonder. I don't need to fly into the eye of the storm. I need to take that position of a higher altitude. Because here's what happens. If you get caught up in appearances, you're going to get caught up in all of life's drama. Every time somebody have a dispute, they're going to call you. Every time the phone rings, oh, you know, my boyfriend made me so mad. And you get caught, well, what happened? Ooh, stay out of that. Because here's what happens. When you do that, you start nose diving into the story. And Scripture tells you, do not rely on your own understanding, because you know it's flawed. You only know what you know, but you don't know what you don't know. So that's when you take the high road and fly above it and say, you know what? I know the truth that you are whole, perfect, and complete. I know that you are a child of the Most High God. I know you are capable and able and intelligent to make the right decision. And then they say, hey, well, maybe I am. Don't get caught up in the details, because then you get sucked in. And pretty soon, their story becomes your story. You know, when you look at some young folks, and you can always tell, women that are in abusive relationships, if you talk to all their friends, guess what? They're in the same kind of relationships. I can't tell you how many years it has been since someone has called me and said, he hit me. I don't attract that, because if you come to me with that, I'm going to say, you know, that is really unfortunate. I'm going to ask you, what are you prepared to do? Are you loving yourself? Does that feel like love? Well, see, people that are caught up in drama, they don't want to hear any of that. They want somebody to get in the story with them, to be in the effect. Here's what I know. Absolutely. If you're going to make up a story, make up one that makes you feel good. Make up one that supports you. Make up one that allows you to fly like an eagle. Don't get sucked into somebody's drama, not even your own. It does not serve us to get caught in the appearance. Elevate yourself above it. Jesus said, and I love this, let the dead bury the dead. We cannot live in our tomorrows or in our yesterdays, the mistakes, fears, doubts of yesterday. We need not bury it. I don't need to hang around help you bury no dead stuff. They will liquidate themselves when they no longer find nourishment in today. That which you refuse to feed shrivels up and dies. That which you refuse to feed shrivels up and dies. Amen? Amen. If you ain't feeding that negative stuff, feeding that drama, oh, it's going to shrivel up and die. But see, a lot of us have what I call an addiction. And people don't realize it, but there is this thing called addiction to drama, where, you know, when there's something going on all the time, they feel alive. That's just an illusion. You know what alive is? Is being in the quiet and being with your thoughts and being at peace. See, a lot of society, especially Western society, and if you notice more and more, it's very chaotic. There is so much stuff coming at us from all sides. There's text messages and phone messages and email and television and radio and newspapers and advertisements up and down the street. And all of that sucks you out into some drama. And 99% of that is about messages that don't make you feel good about you. If you want to be cute, you need to be this. If you want to be rich, you need to be this. If you want to attract the perfect job, you need to look like this, wear this, shop at this store, drive this car. All of that is sucking you out until you realize it's just an illusion. And rise above it and soar. I'm going to tell you one of the biggest suck-outs that's out there. This whole thing about the economy. Ooh, the economy, there isn't any money, there aren't any jobs. You're absolutely right. If you tune in and let that be the truth. See, I don't have to worry about it. You know why? Because 90% of the people gonna buy into that. I'm gonna be the one that gets the job. Because that's not my truth. I took a look out the window. And they were talking about, ooh, the economy this, and I said, well, nobody told that tree it's making as many leaves as it ever has. No one ever told the thunder it's just out there clapping and making its noise. So I don't have to worry about what the economy is doing. Because what they don't tell you is in every economic downfall, there are many millionaires created. See, they talk about the fall of 1929. Oh, World War II. Oh, everything. People couldn't find jobs. Aristotle and Onassis did. You know why? While everybody else was talking about what wasn't possible, you know what? The war was open, and this is a short story. They had all of these ships. And they said, we have a surplus of ships. Everybody else was crying, the war is over, we don't have any jobs, can't nobody eat. He said, well, now we have all these ships, and we're not at war with these folks. We could use those ships to bring products back and forth. He became one of the wealthiest men in the world at a time when everybody else was saying, there's not enough, because he looked with his inner eye, his mind's eye, for the opportunity. If there are no jobs, look for the opportunity. After World War I, there was an army guy that didn't have a lot of education, and all of his superiors were concerned, oh, he's such a nice guy, his family is going to starve. Guess what he did? He became the first street vendor. I don't need to tell you how much money he made selling hot dogs on the street in New York, do I? Anytime there is a crisis, there is also an opportunity. Our job is to find the opportunity. I know someone, when all the jobs dried up, guess what? She had been in HR, her job dried up. She said, I'm going to start a business helping people refine their resumes, putting them in touch with headhunters. She created a whole new opportunity out of one that they said was no opportunity. That's called flying like an eagle. Use whatever your strength is. It doesn't have to be my strength. It needs to be yourself. When you elevate yourself to a higher consciousness, you create opportunity for things to happen. The starting point of great success and accomplishment has always been the same. It is for you to dream big dreams. There's nothing more important and nothing that works faster than for you to cast off your own limitations, than for you to begin dreaming and fantasizing about the wonderful things that you can become, that you can have, and that you can do. But it starts in the consciousness that you are a symbol of strength. You were born free. Get back to knowing who you are. God is not withholding anything from us. It is only upon us to have eyes to see was what is automatically around us. And if you are so comfortable that you don't want to move and you've become complacent, don't be like the frog. Y'all know what happened with the frog? They put a frog in warm water, and the frog acclimated itself to the warm water. And over a period of time, they raised the temperature 1 degree and 1 degree, and the frog was complacent, and it continued to acclimate itself, and it boiled to death. They took another frog that had not been in the warm water. They dropped it in a pot of hot water, and the frog jumped out. The frog chose to soar like an eagle, to remember who it was, to know this is not the truth of who and what I am. I don't belong here. And if you cannot remember, you don't belong in a complacent position of suffering and boiling by being boiled by a circumstance, a situation, or a condition. You know what? Call somebody. Call somebody that loves you and will remind you that you are an eagle. Rise up and fly above it. Don't call somebody that's going to get in there with you. Call somebody that's going to encourage you to rise above your story, because that's all it is. I'm old. I can't do this. I know a man 85 years old, and I'm going to close with this because he so impressed me. I went to see this gentleman, and he had a sign in the door that said math tutor, computer tutor, and memory coach. And I said, well, tell me about this memory coach. He said, you know, in all the things that I've done, nothing prepares you for getting older and your body not being able to do what it used to do. But your mind can remain sharp if you coach it. And he talked about there are ways you can remember anything. And he says, you got to build a tree and hang things from it. And I said, well, tell me about this. I'm curious now, you know, because they keep talking about the memory is the first thing to go. I'm not buying this. He's 85 years old, and he's a memory coach. I want to know the secret. He said, well, you know, when you build branches and you get a picture in your mind, you can hang stuff off of it. I said, well, how many branches are there? He said, there are 20 branches. I said, well, what are they? Oh, I'm all into conversation because he's talking wisdom. He said, well, the first one is a tree. I said, okay. He said, number 2 is like a light switch. Envision a light switch. There's an on position and off position. 3 is a 3-legged stool. 4 is for the 4 tires on a car. He said, you picture those 4 tires in your mind. I said, oh, I got it. He said, 5 is for the 5 fingers of a glove. I got it. 6 is for a 6-shooter. He said, Wild, Wild West. I said, oh, I got it. He said, 7 is roll the dice and come up with 7. I said, yes. He said, 8 is for skate. I said, skate? He said, yeah. There's 4 wheels on each skate. Even inline skates. I said, all right now. 9 is for the cat with 9 lives. 10 is for strike 10. There are 10 pins, and you want to get them all down. 11 is for the goal post. 12 is for 1 dozen. And he threw me with 13. 13 is for witches. I said, witches? He said, yeah, Friday the 13th. I said, okay. 14 is 14 karat. 15, if you work for the government, you get paid on the 1st and the 15th. 16 is for a pound of chocolate. There are 16 ounces in a pound. I said, okay. 17 rhymes with magazine, and there is a magazine that is 17. I said, okay. 18 is for voting. That's when you get to go in the voting booth. 19 is for the 19th hole on the golf course. There are 18 holes, and the 19th hole is the bar. And 20 is for a pack of cigarettes. I said, I got it. I'm going to leave you with that. That's your lesson for the day. I am Miss Bertha's baby girl. I love you. Fly like an eagle. Oh, y'all need not make this so much fun to me. I am inviting the lovely Miss Janita Johnson, a.k.a. JJ. And I want us to just remember, I don't care where you are, what you think your story is. I just want you to avail yourself to a moment of truth, God's truth, that you are perfect, whole, and complete. And this week, just for 1 week, commit to when something pops up in your life, rise above it.
Yes.
Don't fly into the eye of anything. Rise above it and be an eagle in your life. Be that symbol of freedom, of strength. And if you should forget, call somebody. Even on the back of your program, I give you permission. Call me if you forget. I had a woman this week call me, and I was driving. I just pulled over, and we did a quick prayer. I'm on the back of your program. I mean this. I'm not going to invite you to call me if I don't want you to call me. Call me and say, remind me of who I am and whom I belong to. I'll remind you. It only takes a minute. So at this moment, I ask you to uncross your feet and your arms and just sit up. And avail your spirit to that thin air that you can only experience when you're flying above the mundane. And I'm going to invite the lovely Janita, JJ, to sing us into this prayer. And if anyone has anything they would like for me to voice in this prayer, please speak it out. Prosperity. Self-confidence. Yes. Peace. Did I hear peace? Peace. Anything else? Health. Oh, safe. I need to be safe. Okay. Thanksgiving. All right now. We got prosperity, peace, health, safe, self-confidence, friendship building. Grateful. Okay, y'all. Now, we don't want to be here the rest of the day. I think we have a good list. I'm going to invite JJ to do what JJ does.
Let me walk to the banks, to the river of love, where the currents run deep, baptized in the one, where there's no separation, the light is always seen, honoring all the differences. The truth sets us free. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I say, oh, you rock my soul. I say, oh, Lord, you rock my soul, yeah, my soul.
It is from this soulful place that I recognize God and the clap of the thunder, in every raindrop, in the water-filled streets, and in the faces and the hearts and the consciousness of each one in this sanctuary. For what I know is God's grace surrounds us in any given moment. And it's from this knowingness that I know that I am one with God. That God moves, speaks, and has its being in, through, and as me. And that the Father, the Mother, that one consciousness we call the infinite, divine, Holy Ghost, can only do for me what it can do through me. All the mysteries and the teachings of Jesus hang in one word: believe. I know that I must believe before anything can change. For God is withholding nothing, but it is in the belief that the vision is clear, and I rise above any circumstances and conditions to know the absolute truth, that God is ever present. And it's from this place that I speak a word for prosperity, for each one of us are abundantly wealthy. We're wealthy in mind, we're wealthy in potential, we are wealthy in infinite capability, that we can create, manifest, attract to us all that we need in surplus. I speak a word of self-confidence, that each one of us knows who we are. I don't care what the outside world tells you. You are the child of the Most High God, of the Beloved One, who sent you to be here to be just who you are, not to change or adopt or bend to suit someone's idea of you. No one can be a better you than anyone in this room. Each one of us came with our own vision and our own mission. I speak a word of pure, opulent health, that this divine miracle called the human body restores and renews itself. It's designed that way by God to take care of itself. It knows what it needs to eat. It knows what fluids it needs. Every cell is regenerating and vibrating. Every organ renews and restores and repairs itself every 30 days. And it is our job to remember and to support it with a consciousness of positive thoughts. Like the eagle, we don't have to grow old. We can age, but we don't have to grow old. For our minds are as sharp as we allow them to be. I speak a word for the youth that need to feel safe. Know that wherever you are, God is there. There is no spot where God is not. I speak a word for peace. Let the peace of God surround each one of us every day in every way as we do our earthly walk. When we rise up in the morning, we put on our armor of peace and we go out and we see that peace reflected in the face, in the situation, in every condition that we encounter. I speak a word for relationships, those delicate intertwining, that matrix of you as a unique expression of God and myself as a unique expression of God. There is only one of us here. That I see in you, you see in me. If I see peace in you, you see it in me. If I see love in you, you see it in me. And I invite you into this. Oh, I speak from this place of wholeness, of perfection, of being complete in the eyes and heart and soul of the ever-loving Father. And as each one of us goes out, we take with us the truth of who we are. We are the divine expression of God made manifest. We take with us a generous heart, a compassionate spirit, that we are humbled in God's grace. I am so grateful to know that I can come right here and be reminded. I am grateful to know that you are me and I am you, that we are woven into the tapestry of life by the golden threads of the individualized expression of each one of us. And so I take all of this, I weave it together and know it to be the absolute truth because I believe it is so. And therefore, so it must be. I release all of this into that magical alchemy of God's love and God's law, allowing it to transform, transmute, and transcend any conversation unlike pure love. I know it is so. I know it is always the truth. I let it go. I let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
Aren't we lovely? Aren't we beautiful? Angels from heaven, stars in the universe. And so it's true that love will be a reflection of you and me. Aren't we lovely, made from love? All right, everybody, on your feet. You know what time it is. As we all sing this together, by now you should know how lovely you are after that beautiful message from Judy-Ann. All right, here we go. Aren't we lovely? Aren't we beautiful? Angels from heaven, stars in the universe. And so it's true that love will be a reflection of you and me. Aren't we lovely, made from love? Come on, one more time. Aren't we lovely? Aren't we beautiful? Angels from heaven and stars in the universe. And so it's true that love will be a reflection of you and me. Aren't we lovely, made from love? Aren't we lovely, made from love? Aren't we lovely, made from love? Come on, you know what to do. Here we go. Aren't we lovely, made from love? You may be seated and give your